Today is the day that we are gonna make the Honda look like a Honda again. Bro, there's literally spider webs on this thing. That is how long it's been sitting here for. Oh yeah, set it right on the paint. In today's video, we are going to make this front bumper fit over this big old intercooler. And we got a broken fog light and this thing's in pretty rough shape, but it's a sleeper, so that's okay.
Let's just show you guys real quick how long this has actually been sitting here. There's a dead moth right there to start.
But look at this. Look at the roof where this rag was sitting and look at the trunk. Oh my God. That is insane. Like, you can see the line of dust on this damn car. That is disgusting. So in that case, even though this bumper is already pretty clapped out, I'm still gonna set this on the ground just so we don't absolutely destroy it on the concrete. And then honestly, this is obviously not gonna fit. I'm scared that the fog lights might not even fit. That's why I haven't bought new ones yet. So just real quick, since this has been off the car for so long, I just wanna do a quick test fit just to see how far we can go. And it's hitting already. It would be really cool if we could bolt this thing up without cutting anything, but I think we're gonna be taking this entire bottom section out here because that is definitely gonna hit the intercooler. We can't really make this very sleeper. We're gonna take this whole bottom grill section out because it is hitting the intercooler pipes. That's not a big deal. I don't even think we have to cut that. Might have to do a little bit of trimming along the top, but I think we might be able to just take this guy right off. Oh my gosh, this grill is like this entire lip piece. It's all put together. Might have to take off this entire thing. We could still make this lip work though. We would just have to cut the grill off. But for now, I'm gonna take that off and see if the bumper will even fit up.
All right, boys, the bumper is ready to go on. I made a mess of burnt up plastic all over the place, but we got that all cleaned up. The only downside to this intercooler piping is on the driver's side. I think you could fit a fog light, but you would have to shave down a lot of the fog light housing. And what I mean by that is I think you would have to cut off this entire section right here of the fog light, this whole little extended piece, and then she would fit and not hit the intercooler pipe. But we did have to modify a whole bunch on this bumper to make this fit. And I'll show you guys the front side first. I had to completely cut off that little circle tab there that has the screw that goes through it. And then on the back side, I had to completely cut out this entire little mount here that had a little clip like this for threading in the Phillips head screw that screws in from the front of the bumper. We had to completely get rid of that and clearance out the bottom here too, or else it would hit the bumper. So then since it doesn't mount on the bottom now, I drilled 2 holes up top here and then drilled 2 holes in the front of the fog light mount. And then as you can see, there's just 1 zip tie on the front there. But for the most part, pretty clean. You can't really notice anything other than the hole right there. Then I really wanted to save the factory grill and try and make it fit with that to keep it super nice and sleeper, but I just couldn't do it. If I did, it would have looked like crap and been all flimsy. Whenever you hit a bump, the grill would have been flapping all over the place. And I'm not about that. I want it to be nice and sturdy and clean. So we're gonna have to show off the intercooler a little bit, but if that's the only thing that makes this car look like a turbo Civic from the outside, I'm okay with that. Because then people see the big intercooler and they go, oh shit, that thing probably rips. So on the front of the bumper, this is essentially what it looks like. We got this whole front section cleared out here. And to be honest with you, I'm just gonna keep the right fog light. We're only gonna have 1. For now, until we get new fog lights, because this one is busted anyways. So I don't want to mount this one back up just to have to take it back off again and clearance it and go through all that work when we're not going to be using this anyways. And just for comparison, you guys could see that's what it looks like stock with the little Phillips head screw. So it's not too bad. This side just has that 1 hole missing and a zip tie on the top. But all the body lines still line up. She still turned out super clean. And then our cut on this bumper is super, super clean. Can't even tell we ever cut it. Looks almost like it was supposed to be like that. So if we hop to the back of the bumper, I'll show you guys what I had to clearance out back here. Starting from the top and working our way down, at the grill, I literally had to clearance out this entire back section. We had to get rid of the body clip mount on this side and on this side, or else it would hit the upper fins of the intercooler. As you can see, it was hitting right there. I was rubbing a little bit on it. So once we cleared that section out, we were able to keep the bottom 2 body clips to keep the grill nice and sturdy. So I was happy with that. Then I went ahead and cut off all the tabs off here, cut off all the tabs off here. And then this whole bottom skid plate portion doesn't really, you don't have to mount it, but I wanted to because the body clip mounts on this are what go to the actual frame of the car to keep this sturdy. So I ended up putting it back on. We also got the whole front little splitter or mudguard piece back on and the 2 side trim pieces. We use all the factory body clip mounts except right here. I didn't have an extra body clip, so I just zip tied it there. Zip tied on the ends because the metal clip mounts are busted. But on this side, I did have to cut out the little mount in the corner in order to clear that intercooler pipe right there. So as you can see on this side, I still have that mount and zip tied it right there. But on the other side, I had to cut that out. Then for this whole piece, I just chopped it right there. About halfway up the whole grill assembly, chopped the whole thing right off. Even took the upper section off. I only maintained the bottom section just so that we could maintain the factory body clips and clip them in right there so that this bottom whole kind of skid plate trim piece would be solid. And that's pretty much it. Let's slap her in and see how she fits. Damn. Sick, dude. Man, that looks not bad, but I do wish that the intercooler came down a little bit further, or it was a little bit bigger. Because with how big of a hole there is at the front here, seeing those clamps, not really the best look in my opinion. I wish this whole section could be covered. I wish this whole section could be covered and this whole section, and all you saw was this front piece. But it's wide open, which kind of sucks. Some people might like that look. I don't think it looks terrible, but it ain't perfect. But neither is this car, so that's okay. Also, having no fog light on the side does actually kind of look cool because you can see the intercooler pipe through there. And then on this side, it's got a fog light and looks stock. But hey, at least we got a front bumper on now. I haven't put any of the clips in the bottom yet, but this top trim piece still fits. The grill still fits with the intercooler bracket. Now our next step is gonna be getting these side pieces put back on. This one looks like it's for this side. And I'm thinking, these are the clips that go on there. You ain't a show car, but this is gonna be a fun ass daily driver. Next step would be to put the wiper cowl on, but I don't wanna do that yet because I wanna make sure that the downpipe gasket is not leaking. So I gotta spray that with some soapy water when we have the car running because we still gotta bleed the coolant a little bit. And I actually remembered to bring my coolant funnel this time. But one thing I've been putting off, and I think I talked about it at the beginning of this video, I can't really remember because this is like 3 days later, but me and my dad just built this little custom wrench. It's a 1-inch wrench. We cut out a little slit to fit over an AN line because the oil drain on this car is so damn tight to the frame. You can't get on it with a regular open end wrench. You need a closed end to fit, and you need it to be nice and short. So you could just chop a wrench in half and then it turns into a stubby open-ended wrench, kind of like an O2 wrench. But I'll show you how it works. That piece right there is so tight to the frame that you cannot get a wrench on it to save your life. So what we did was we made an open end wrench where you can slide it over the AN line like that and then slide her in. She'll get on the fitting and then you can tighten it just like that. So we got the oil drain nice and tight now. She's not leaking no more. So now we can fire this thing up again and bleed the coolant. Is she low? I don't see no coolant in there. Get this nice and high up so that we got a highest point of our cooling system. Now for those of you that watched the first start video, that is a proper coolant bleeding funnel setup. What we had last time was kind of ghetto. Before we fire this thing up again though, we gotta get a new jet tag slapped on the Honda keys because I don't have one yet. So So we got ourselves a good old Something Cool jet tag. You guys want to get one of your own? You guys could hop onto the Something Cool Co website. These things are only like 10 bucks. All the money that you guys spend on the website goes directly back into building stuff like this. So for those of you boys that bought one already, I'm holding this upside down right now. Thank you guys for the support. Let's fire this thing up. I just realized last time that I did this, I never blasted the heat inside. That could be why it wouldn't bleed. That only sat for like 5 days and it's dead already. Sounded like it was misfiring for a while. I do want to make sure that this oil drain line's not leaking though. Nope. Spray some soapy water, see if we got any leaks. I don't think that's leaking, which is crazy because I was expecting that to leak. That spacer works. I'm gonna link that spacer in the description for you guys because I did not think that was gonna work. We got a gasket on both sides of the spacer though, and then the downpipe. So we got one more part that we gotta see if it fits. We got a good old Bull Boost Performance turbo blanket. Let's see if this even fits. Oh, look at that fitment. So I know the car is running right now, so it's kind of loud. But if you guys want to save yourselves 10% off of all Bull Boost Performance parts, I'll put a link in the description that you guys can click to get yourself 10% off. Or at checkout, you can use the code Daniel10. It'll give you 10% off your order because who doesn't like saving money, especially on car parts? There we go, baby. Now we're starting to get some bubbles out of her. Like I said, we're gonna let this thing keep idling. I'm gonna toss this bottom skid plate on, get all the body clips put on, get this front bumper kind of finalized and set. I do have the wiper cowl just set on here because I wanted to see how it sits, but I'm not gonna be putting this on until we get the turbo blanket on. And man, oh man, does that get hot. That's just at idle. I might actually gold heat tape the entire underside of this because that is crazy how hot that is already just from idling. My gosh, boys, this is sick. The back wheels are on the ground. I know it ain't much, but we are so close to a first drive on this thing. It's insane. I ran the car off camera for a while with the back end sitting on the ground and the front jacked up. And it bled out so much that the coolant actually came so low, I had to top the funnel back up. And then once it got really, really hot and the bubble stopped, I shut it off. Now it's been sitting for about 30 minutes or so. So it's cooled down enough to the point where I can touch the turbo and it's not absolutely melting my hands. So I'm gonna get this turbo blanket officially slapped on there since this downpipe isn't leaking. We can kind of finalize that area. And then I wanna get the gold heat tape on the wiper cowl so that we can get this wiper cowl slapped back on there. Just to kind of see how everything fits. We are gonna have to take it back off anyways because we're gonna have to pull this valve cover off because I got a new valve cover coming from CXRacing just to kind of try and clean up this bay a little bit, and it's vented so I can actually run a catch can rather than drilling 2 holes in this valve cover because this one's pretty crusty. It's gonna cost me like probably 100 to 150 bucks to powder coat it, plus buying the bungs and getting a shop to weld it since I don't have an aluminum welder. It's just not worth it. The CXRacing one's only like 230 bucks. So again, I know I gave you guys a Bull Boost discount code, but even though I'm not putting the valve cover on yet, if you guys are watching this video and you guys want to snag your own vented and baffled valve cover off of CXRacing, use the code Daniel10. It'll save you 10% off your order, and I'll put a link in the description just so that you guys can save some money because I'm trying to help the boys out. don't make a mess. And it does every single time. The trick with these funnels is to use one of these suction things and suck all the coolant out of it so you don't make a mess. And then you can take it off and it doesn't leak everywhere. Now we got all the air out so we can put the rad cap back on.
If you guys ever spill coolant and you need to clean it off, I just use water to wash it all down. So it's easier to clean up after. We wanted this engine bay to look as stock as possible because she's a sleeper. So for the finishing touch on this build, we got the factory engine cover. Just to let all the Lambos know when they get gapped and they ask me to pop the hood, she's a frickin' 2-liter. VTEC, baby. This is crazy. We literally have everything assembled in this engine bay, pretty much. Except for that little breather. Damn, does that look good. Everything is nice and hidden and tucked, and there's just a big old turbo in there. This is crazy. And also, update on the oil drain line. No more leaks on the ground. We got no leaks under this car whatsoever. I also went ahead off camera and got the boost controller all mounted up and solid down there, which looks really, really nice and hidden behind the whole battery. We got the battery mount on here. She's nice and sturdy now. We also did get the whole wiper cowl assembly put back on. I am missing a whole bunch of body clips for it, so I gotta run to Honda and grab all of those. But the heat wrap we did underneath the wiper cowl turned out super good. You guys can see it under there. It's all silver, just so that it kind of stays hidden away from all the gold. I didn't want to have gold absolutely everywhere under there. So the silver isn't really that noticeable. Now the last thing I want to show you guys underneath the car is how we ended up making this whole skid plate fit so this thing looks 100% factory underneath. I had to cut a small section of the skid plate out right where this intercooler pipe is, but outside of that, she just body clipped right up. This whole side is completely fine. You don't have to modify anything. The only thing that sucks is the bumper with the intercooler pipe. The fog light doesn't fit with the way that I mounted this. And then on this side, you had to cut that piece out. But other than that, everything fits like factory, which is awesome. Because it has been a freaking year since this car was on 4 wheels. And since it moved under its own power. So, let's get this thing off jack stands for the first time in a year and see how this competition stage 4 6-puck clutch feels like. I haven't driven this car in a long time, but I remember it being like an on-off switch. It was pretty bad. I think the funniest part about this build is that it's still on Steelies. Now, for the first time in a year, the Honda is on all 4 wheels. I am unbelievably excited right now. And just for fun, I want to drive it out of the shop. We're not going to do a first drive today though, but I do want to just drive it out of the shop just to say that it moves. Oh man, this is the first time I've closed the hood on this thing since we started the build. Does it shut? Oh my God, it shuts perfect. This car is so freaking dirty. This is insane. Does it look like a turbo Honda? I think it looks like your grandma's Honda. All right, let's do this. Oh, I forgot it has electric steering. This thing idles so good already on this base map. This is so sleeper. I love it, boys. If you don't look down at that intercooler,
You have no idea. This is crazy, bro.
We did it! I can't believe it, but we did it. We have a turbo Honda.
And now that we finally got this thing on all 4 wheels, we got one more mod to do, boys.
We gotta install a something cool windshield decal, boys. Now, even though these are my decals and I sell them, I still don't quite know the best way to install these. I know it's about 20 inches wide, so I'm gonna put a piece of tape at about the 10-inch mark, and then we're gonna measure the width of the windshield, about 53.5. So about 26.75 is the halfway point. I got my finger right there. That's the center of the windshield. Rip a little piece of tape, and we are going to mark this center point. So now I know that the center of the windshield is there. We are going to line up this decal at the center of the windshield. I'm gonna step away and just see if that looks like it's in the middle. It looks like it's slightly off to the left, actually. So clearly my middle of the windshield measurement didn't really work. That looks like the middle. These things are actually super good quality vinyl. They peel really, really nice. And they lay down nice, and they're super sticky. Now I just gotta make sure she's nice and straight. Right, there it is. I'm gonna start by laying down this corner. Now, I like to peel the whole thing and then lay it all down at once. And I always line up the bottom of the C right to the bottom black line of the windshield. And now we can peel her off. And like I said, you don't gotta be too gentle with these. They are super good quality vinyl, so they peel pretty nice. Just be consistent when you peel it off. Nice and slow. And she will come off nice and smooth. If a couple spots lift a little bit, just push it back down with your finger. Now that is something cool. I love it.
If you guys want to support Something Cool and you guys want to be a part of the crew, go to the link in the description on the Something Cool website and you guys can get your very own Something Cool windshield banner.
That's gonna be it for today's video. I will see you guys at the first drive.